Welcome everyone on the panel and those joining us from around the globe for the Global Student Chat. Today, we've again joined for another tweet and talk on the topic financial literacy. First, let me give you a short overview of the Global Student Chat. It is a student led chat that connects K 12 students worldwide to discuss topics and questions about character education, social justice, and citizenship. Global Student Chat creates opportunities for students to network with others, gain perspective, build relationships with new literacy partners in a literacy rich environment, experience social media as a powerful platform for learning, and establish a positive digital footprint. Thank you so much for joining us once again. Well, Samantha, why don't you explain us about how everybody watching us live can, get engaged with the back channels to get involved in our conversation?
X, formerly Twitter, follow the hashtag Global Student Chat to read the ideas, thoughts, and questions shared by others. We will use the question one and answer one format. You can also participate on our Instagram account by responding to the posts. Use hashtag Global Student Chat to add your thinking and get involved in the conversation. Feel free to share your first name and where in the world you're joining from today. If you ask questions, we will bring them to the panel. Please remember that the audience for this chat is K-12, so your comments and questions should be appropriate for all ages.
Thank you, Samantha. Well, let's have a round of introduction first. So, yeah, I'll go first. Hi, everyone. I'm Namya Joshi, and I'm a grade 11 student studying in Satpal Middle School in India. And this is my third year at the Global Student Chat. Really excited for today's student talk. So, yeah, um, Rebecca, why don't you go next?
Hi everyone, my name is Rebecca and I'm a grade 12 student at Cardinal Carter, and I'm going to pass the phone over to Samantha and Kabir. Okay, I take it back because they've disappeared for a little bit. I'm going to give the mic over to Clara.
Hi, my name is Clara. I'm a seventh grade student in Ringgold Middle School.
Hi, my name is Riley Green. I am a grade 12 student at Lakeshore High School, and I'm joined here today with my business teachers, Miss Abigail Widger and Miss Danielle Arnone.
Hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
It's really nice to meet you. Thank you for joining us today. So, before we begin, I'm going to take you through the Tweet and Talk norms. So, we have 30 minutes to discuss three questions. Please be mindful that this chat is open to students in the K to 12. Active participation from all classes is how we learn. All comments made during the chat should be positive and productive. We welcome diverse opinions. You may not agree with something someone has said, but we ask that when challenging an idea, that you respectfully disagree with the idea and not the individual person. Being respectful online includes using language that is inclusive and culturally appropriate. And I pass it on to Rebecca to begin with the questions for the day.
Hey, so our first question is, are you a saver or a spender? Spenders, what do you like to buy? And savers, what are you saving for? Now, I wouldn't mind starting the question off. I would call myself a retired spender. Only this year, when I hit grade 12, I became a saver. And I've been saving just for long term goals. I'm going to university next year, so I'm saving up for a little bit to help out with that and for the memories and experiences because I recently learned a valuable lesson that might not apply to everyone, but for me personally, as it's my last year of high school, I found that saving for memories as opposed to material items is a lot more important to me. And what I mean by this is, as opposed to saving up for a really nice shirt, I would put aside money just in case my friends want to go out. Maybe we'll go spend $30 at the movies, go get a nice dinner, because those memories I'll hold forever, as opposed to the shirt that maybe I can get another day.
True, I would agree with that too because I am a saver as well. And I think saving money is a valuable habit that can have many benefits both in the short term and the long term. So basically, I save money to spend it logically. That empowers me to, have my own financial decisions and reduces my reliance on my parents for every expense of mine. So in a nutshell, if I'd say, it fosters a sense of financial independence, and again responsibility as well, because I have to think of where to spend and where not to spend. And again, I think it's always the first step that you take when you start saving to achieve your future goals, because saving in a way plays a very important role while accomplishing your goals, because it helps you and teaches you to have funds for your rainy days. That is again very vital. So if each one of us, like since the beginning, we start developing a habit of saving early, it helps us to have the lifetime of being responsibly financially responsible, and again reducing the risk of falling into debt again in the future. So in the beginning, if you're becoming a person who is a saver, it again goes ahead as a really good habit in your life ahead.
I completely agree with you. I would say I'm more of a mix of both, because like I understand what you're saying. When I had a job, I found myself buying more things as sort of like a reward, that's kind of the system I had for myself. Also, I've been saving when I was young. So obviously when I was young, I didn't have a job. So I wrote down a list of all the things I've ever wanted. So when I got a job, I hit this certain number that I've always wanted. And then from there, it kind of depleted. But now that I don't have a job anymore, I am back to being a saver. And I'm saving for things like university, for grocery, textbook, things like this. I'm also interested in getting involved in stocks in the near future. So I need to save for this.
Interesting. Yeah, for me, I think I'm definitely a saver. I like the idea of saving my money because I know I can really benefit from that in the future. Since childhood, or at least like a few years ago, I've definitely been saving for a car because I always wanted a nice first car, like a Range Rover or something like that. But recently, I've diverted away from that because I realized, I can still use my parents' cars from time to time. I'd rather save up for something bigger, like my first down payment on my house or something like that, because I think that could help me so much in the future, because I'm really interested in property ownership, and starting off with a nice down payment from a young age is huge for a young person. So I think now I'm definitely shifted towards saving my money more.
Yeah, I agree with all of you. I'm a saver. The things I'm saving up for are college and for a car when I get to college, and just other expensive long-term goals that I need to meet.
So I'm definitely working on my saving habits, that's for sure. I agree with the retired spender comment because that is totally me. I always would spend my money, and I've been working since I was going into freshman year. So I've always had a job. I love to work. I have a really hard work ethic, but I do also really love to spend my money. And so now I'm like, okay, you need to focus. You need to save this money for university. You're going to college. Like, you need to have down payments for college. You need to have textbook payments. You have so much other stuff that you need to spend, that you need to save your money on. So now I'm like really working on saving money and not spending it on Starbucks or things like that.
Yeah, and I think I always teach in my personal finance class, you don't have to be one or the other, in my opinion.
Mhm.
If you're somebody that, like Riley said, you've worked your whole life, you have those future goals in mind, the way that I structure things personally is I always save enough money first so I know I have that savings, and then I leave a little bit for myself to spend. Of course, you're working to reward yourself, right? You want to have a nice house in the future. You want to go to college, all of those things. But you should have fun when you're young and go out to the movies with your friends, like you said. So it's kind of just finding that balance of both and striking that perfect balance. You have a budget for everything and you're still saving for your future, I think.
Yeah, and I love what you said, Rebecca, about saving for memories. I think that's wonderful because I think we lose out on just having things in this day and not being with people who we love and being around. And honestly, you all are ahead of the game. You're all thinking about your future. That's wonderful because I can't say when I was your age, I was thinking about saving any sort of pennies. So nice job.
Yeah, no, I agree with everything said by everyone. And yes, I am so thankful to be able to call myself a retired spender. It was a big problem when I was younger. So I'm going to bring us into question 2, which is what role does/should school play in understanding financial literacy? So I'm also going to start this question off just while I'm unmuted here. I would say from personal experience at my school, for example, we've had a lot of opportunities to learn and understand the basics of financial necessities, such as learning about needs versus wants, the reality of the workplace, introductions / learning about the definitions and what it means to have taxes, bills, mortgages, and the values of investing, which is something that our next question can kind of slide you into. And also, our school does offer a lot of optional electives for older grades, such as grade 11 and 12, when you can take classes such as accounting, business, and marketing.
I like what you said, Rebecca, but I feel like we don't really have like a money management course or like a financial literacy course.
Mhm.
Like we have like accounting, business, and marketing, yes, but I feel like these are more courses that will help people in the future if they want to get into these jobs. So like you feel like you learn more about terms, I would say. I actually had a debate about this in my English class last year. I think there should be like a financial literacy or money management class because it's really important for students to learn about taxes and stocks and how to actually manage your money, what different accounts mean, and things like that.
No, I gotta agree with Samantha on this one because I think school does play somewhat of a role in understanding financial literacy. Like our certain courses, such as finance, can help us understand how to properly save for the future. These courses like make us more aware of where our money is going and how to optimize our spending, especially as young people. But I do think the school should mandate at least one business or finance based course because at least in Ontario, it's only listed as electives. It's not listed as a mandatory course like English would be, because I think it's so important that we learn finance from a young age because finance and business and money is everywhere, especially when we start getting older. We got to spend so much. We got to organize our spending. But I do believe that we learn the most about financial literacy, or at least myself, through my parents and family, because I personally ask my parents a lot of questions about business and savings and work. So I learn the most through them.
I also think learning things now sets us up for the future. So I think that's also important to have those courses mandated.
Yeah.
Completely agree with all of you. And like it said, schools are our second home. So we learn a plethora of stuff at school. And when it comes to financial literacy in school, it can be a really powerful tool for addressing gaps and inequalities as well in financial literacy by providing students, with the skills and knowledge that they need to succeed ahead in life. And I think if it's actually implemented in certain schools where it's not, it can increase the awareness and interest in financial matters, as well as, again, it helps to improve the academic awareness as well and the interests in financial matters. And then again, if it's being incorporated into different curriculums and different grade levels, it can be covered on subjects, whether talked about budgeting, about saving, about investing, like you said, about crediting, basic economic principles as well. Um, then again, I think, if you're incorporating the real life examples and case studies into lessons, that can make financial literacy and the concepts more relatable and applicable for students' future lives. And to give an example, like in our school, we have a competition that the students in our school, even like I have took this up for the past 3 years, is the water investment challenge. So we're supposed to see a case study of a client. Like it's of course not a real one, but you just have to give a proper investing strategy for the person, and it includes stock investment, budgeting, and then again how the person can fulfill their short-term and long-term goals in the next 5 or 10 years. So again, it's not just about winning or losing or getting the best strategy. It's again about financial literacy in the end, how you're using the $100,000 have been given to you in the perfect way, where you're saving as well, but you're actually able to accomplish your client's goals. And besides that, we have other challenges such as mentorex, entrepreneurship, challenges that keep on coming in our school, wherein we have to pitch our startup ideas. And the most important thing that they are listening to us is about how we're going to be investing our money and how much money is going to be used in certain aspects of R&D of technology and other things as well. But we still need more subjects being added or more concepts being added that are focused upon financial literacy in many schools worldwide. So if they are able to introduce competitions, introduce the topics in a way that are more in line to real life examples, that could help students become more knowledgeable about how to save, how to earn, and how to invest in the future.
Yeah. Since I'm in middle school, we don't have any classes that talk or teach about money management. But once you get into high school, there's an option to do an economics class that talks about macroeconomics, microeconomics, and personal financing. But it's not mandatory, and I think it'd be pretty smart to do a mandatory class on financing.
Well said. And just to circle back a little bit back to Samantha and Kabir, I just want to throw back in there. Kabir, I completely agree with what you're saying. I do think that we should have something implemented that's more directly along the lines of financial literacy. But I also do think that we do have, the YCDSB board does have a few good classes. For example, I took grade 11 accounting last year. And while we might not have covered exact terms, some of the assignments, for example, our CPT presentation, we had to research a specific field. And with the additional research and the assignments here and there, you do learn a lot of the little terms that might have been missing in the general coursework.
Yeah, and you do have a good point. If you do want to get heavily invested into business and finance, we do have like SHSM business courses and co-op courses that involve actually work experience itself, which is really good.
So I'm actually really fortunate at my school. We have a business and finance academy where it's a 3-year program where students start their sophomore year. And through this 3 years, not only do they take finance courses like financial planning and personal finance, they take strategies for success, which will teach them how to prepare for their future financially and also in a career way. We also take accounting. We take economics, we take public speaking, we take, oh my gosh, what else do we have?
Everything.
I can't even remember all the classes we take, but all of these courses are basically structured around us being able to be financially smart with our money and talk about credit card debt and how you get out of that, or if you should even open a credit card. We have projects that we were financial advisors the one day, and we had to give our clients the best way to spend their money. We had a My Financial Plan at 25 where we really did take a deep dive into what will our college loans be like? What will our house loans be like? How much are we willing to spend for our wedding? How much do we want to spend on a car? All those things, and really realize like, okay, we need to think about how our money needs to be spent now so that we have this money for our future. So I think I'm really fortunate here to have this academy that I'm a part of.
Yeah, so in New York State, it's not a requirement to have personal finance, but actually that's something that we've been working on here in our school district, is to make personal finance mandated for everyone before they graduate, to take one semester of it. So it is something that here, the United States Next Gen Personal Finance, I don't know if any of you have ever heard of that, but they're a really great resource. And their goal is by 2030 to have all of the United States have a course that the students take before they graduate in personal finance, which I think would really be a great goal for everybody.
Absolutely. I taught a personal finance section last semester that was freshmen rating to seniors. And it was really interesting. At first, I was like, okay, are we going to be on the same playing field here with things? Like some people are buying cars, other people are saving up for a shirt, like we kind of mentioned earlier. But it was really interesting to get the perspective of all of the students. And they all were, learning about credit cards and things that you see all over online now. I've been seeing so many TikToks about, I'm $20,000 in credit card debt. I'm $10,000 in credit card debt. And I think at the foundation level, if you learn that in school, you would never get into that much debt because you would have known how hard it is to get out and how the interest and all of that can be a problem. But I think all of your opinions are wonderful, and I agree that it should be mandated.
Yeah, and Kabir, I was thinking about your, asking your parents. You're so lucky that you have someone who's good with their finances, right? Because a lot of people might look to their parents who might not have made great choices and not know what to do. So I think that's why it is important for the school to play a role in this.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And sorry, I just wanted to clarify really quickly. For those who don't know, SHSM stands for Specialized High Skills Major. So it's essentially a course that's offered where we can take half the school day off to get actual work experience by an employer who hires students from school who are interested in that career, and we get credits for that program as well. So we get both work experience and school credits.
Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to move us into question 3, which is, what good advice have you been given about financial literacy, and how might this help you in the future? So I'll just start off something short here. I was once told to count the pennies and the dollars will take care of themselves. I can't remember who told me this, but it really stuck with me and it helped me get to my saving journey because I really took this quote and thought to myself, I need to stop throwing my money here on these short little random things that just, oh, that looks cool to me. Let's buy it. Oh, that's a really nice thing over there. I'm going to buy it. I used to do that all the time. But then when I think about this quote, it's more so paying attention to the little things that you spend your money on as opposed to the big purchases. Like I could go and look at a $1,400 laptop and I'll think, okay, that's a big purchase. But if I'm looking at a bunch of little things like, oh, this makeup palette is $10 and that candy bar is only $4, and I just keep buying things here and there, eventually it's going to equate out to the same value. So that quote is something that I took with me. And it also kind of made me start researching into investing. And I think that's a super powerful thing that kids our age, everyone in this chat can start looking into from now. Not saying you have to immediately jump in and start putting your money into places, especially if you don't have a job or anything, but it's something that you should start researching from now.
Yeah, and I agree with what you said, Becca. I think for sure, like small items definitely add up, and you don't really feel like you spent something when you're just buying small little Starbucks or small little makeup palettes. It doesn't, you can't comprehend that you actually bought it. But when you buy a big ticket item like maybe a $1,000 watch after saving up for a long time, you're gonna feel like you earned that, and then you're gonna reset your timer of when you want to buy your next big ticket item. You know, you're not just gonna accumulate that through small gifts and small materialistic items. But for me, I've been given a lot of financial advice, especially from my dad, because I do ask him a lot of questions about finance. But something that really stuck with me is we think so much about our savings, yet we spend in a matter of minutes. I think this advice is really important because it has ensured that I think about my spendings with more care. You know, having a carefree attitude about spending can have your money gone in no time. It takes a long time to save up, but your money can go just like this. So although spending at times is important for, you know, self-care, joy, a little bit of happiness here and there, one must fully process the consequences of spending all your hard-earned money that can go away so fast.
These are lovely quotes. I actually also got my advice from my parents. I'd say both of them. They always said as soon as I can save up for or can afford to buy a property, and this kind of aligns with their beliefs that are now my beliefs, buy assets instead of liabilities. And this kind of means don't buy something if it's going to deplete in value. Buy things that are going to increase in value. That way you can possibly get money back later on.
I truly agree with that. Buy assets and not liabilities. I've heard that a lot. Even my economics teachers has told that to me many times, you know, while explaining certain concepts as well. And similarly, even I've got, you know, the advice from my parents as well. And I've always believed in this thing that the art is not in money making, but in keeping it. And the only advice that they've given to me is to start early and save regularly. So starting early and saving regularly is very important for, you know, finally achieving that financial success. And I think this strategy helps to leverage any compound interest, and, you know, allowing the money to grow exponentially over time. And it helps to build a strong financial foundation for a person. Again, that is also going to help you to provide security for any unforeseen circumstances that you never know that may come ahead in your life. And most importantly, it helps to maintain a proper financial discipline. And then also you'd be able to prioritize your long-term goals, you know, for high school or for anything that you want to start in the future, like your business. So it offers flexibility, but then again, you have to be very strategic about it when you're able to, you know, highlight which amount of money has to go to which section. And then just you should spend, but you know, spend smart. And it should, I mean, at the end of the day, you're thinking a lot about how much you've spent, but you've spent in a way that, yeah, it can be used ahead in the future. And you spend it on something that is of your use, and not of something that would actually have no purpose for you ahead in the future.
Yeah, the best advice about financial literacy came from my dad, and he said that to try to stay out as much debt as possible, like don't get big eyes for big and fancy and expensive things, and just try to save up as much money as possible so you can save it for the bigger things that you need.
So in my personal finance class, we talked about SMART goals and what is a smart thing to buy and what is a not so smart thing to buy. And the one thing that we really like dug into was budget. Make a budget and stick with it. If you look at your week, make a list of everything you buy throughout your week and put everything in there. Every little vending machine, every little stop at a gas station, put every single thing in there and really like realize how much money you're spending on those little tedious things that like we said earlier in the chat, they will rack up, and those is what's going to drown out your money. That's what's going to waste it all away. So really just look through everything and budget really and be meticulous about it.
So one thing I always like to ask my students is, if you have $1 million salary, are you a millionaire? And a lot of them look at me and they're like, well, technically yes, but it depends on how you're spending your money and you're budgeting your money, right? You could be a millionaire driving a fancy car, living in a fancy apartment. You don't have any equity in a home, that type of thing. So it's pretty interesting because you could make $1 million a year, but have a completely different financial situation. A lot of you said the same thing. It's being smart with your money, budgeting, all of those type of things. And I just always kind of think that one nails, true for me. And also, you want to make your money work for you, right? So we talk about investing, savings. You can have a high yield savings account, those type of things. And your money's going to start working for you and actually making money. So that's a big thing too.
And I think for myself with financial literacy, I actually didn't have parents that were good with their money. So I didn't have a way to ask them about tips. But really, I've learned this over my years of being an adult and realizing that I have goals for myself that I want to achieve. I want to have my emergency fund, so in case something was to happen, I could pay my bills off and I wouldn't have to worry about anything. And so we talk about SMART goals, and if there's something that you really want to buy a new phone or something, and how can you achieve that, and breaking that down by giving it a time frame. Is it realistic? Can you make it that, okay, I only got to put $100 or $80, $50, $5 away for so many months or weeks. So I think that the important thing with financial literacy is that anything truly can be achieved if you have a plan and you make a budget for yourself and really think about what's important to you. So wonderful conversation with you all. You've been great.
It was so great to meet everybody today.
Thank you so much for sharing those lovely thoughts. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. So special thanks to our mentors for the day, Miss Danielle, Miss Abby, and of course, Riley as well for joining us. So first of all, we would love to talk about the Social Media Ambassador Program. Are you a digital leader or want to become one? Global Student Chat is always seeking student social media ambassadors. This information can be found on globaledsschat.com. And we're always looking for students who excel or looking to grow their digital leadership skills. Please keep the conversation going by answering the slow chat for the rest of the month. Be sure to use the hashtag Global Student Chat. So our team can interact with you. Please follow us and connect us on social media. Website globaledsschat.com, X formerly Twitter, @Global Student Chat, Instagram @Global Student Chat, and all of our live chats are available on our YouTube channel. Thanks again for joining us, and we hope to see you on the next month on March 19th, 2024 at 1 p.m. Eastern discussion on the topic of should phones be banned in school. Thank you.